Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Sam and Baby. And I know I'm wearing the same clothes that I was wearing in the last video. Well, I kind of recorded that video. Now I'm recording this video. So this video is going to be really about the hospital visits I had and the hospital stay that I had. These are all about preterm labor because I really truthfully believe that I might have been going into preterm labor. So I believe it was the second Thursday of January, which I believe was the 13th of January, which I also had an ultrasound that day too early on. So about like 1 o'clock, I think, I had a ultrasound appointment. They wanted to check his growth and make sure he was okay just because of how tiny I am, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure I, like, popped out even more now. But at least at the time, I was measuring just a little small, and they just want to make sure that at least he and his size was right, which turned out to be okay. Everything was fine. He's in the, at least at the time I got the ultrasound done, they said that he was in the 45th percentile, which really isn't a big deal. It's a little bit under. Average is like 50% percentile, I believe. Then, yeah. So, 45th percentile, he's okay and everything. Later on that night, I start having contractions that are consistent, that are happening every 5 to 10 minutes, or at least like the range was it was just a good estimate of between 5 to 10 minutes. I was having a contraction every 5 to 10 minutes. They were lasting approximately about 30 seconds up to as much as 2 minutes long. Excuse me. And it felt like the pain was progressively getting worse as it kept going on. Granted, it was kind of bouncing back and forth between the contractions getting closer together and then separating and then getting closer together. And I was tracking this for like 3-4 hours before I went into the ER, or before I went into labor and delivery. So it continued on. I eventually went in. They checked me when I first get there, saying that, everything looks fine. I wasn't dilating or anything. My mucus plug was still in and all. Yeah, so I was there for about, 4 to 6 hours. Good, maybe? Something like that. No more than 6 hours. I don't really exactly remember, but no more than 6 hours. Brain fart! They checked me again, and they said that I did not continue to dilate, so they did end up sending me home. I went home and I just kind of slept the contractions off. They did stop. Well, not stop, but like they slowed down and they weren't as painful, but I was still having them, and some of them really, for the most part, was just really uncomfortable. But the way I was able to pretty much get them to stop was just to sleep them off, and then in the morning I had one that woke me up, but then like after that I haven't had any. But then a little bit later on that day, which is now it's Friday, the 14th, they I have a brain fart. Oh my gosh. They didn't continue. Like, I would get one every once in a while, but like it was something very small and like quick and like no big deal at all. But I did end up actually losing my mucus plug that day too. And then nothing really happened. I continued to have them, but they were definitely Braxton Hicks contractions, so they weren't worrisome or anything like that. But then that very next Thursday, I ended up going back in because the same episode that I was having, that I had that previous Thursday, happened again, and it seemed like the contractions were way closer together, about happening every like 5 to 7 minutes. Excuse me. Again, but then it stayed the same with like how long they were lasting, about 30 seconds to about 2 minutes long. And also, sorry, my through. Actually, we're doing cuddle. Okay. They were happening about every 5 to 7 minutes. They were lasting about 30 seconds to 2 minutes. They did check me, and I was 1 centimeter dilated. I wasn't effaced or thinned out yet, but they did say that I was at least dilated 1 centimeter. And then again, I stayed for maybe approximately the same amount of time, 3 to 6 hours about. I didn't really keep track. And this time I actually had the OB that I've been seeing at that hospital. So she was there. She was really nice. I ended up going like 1 or 2 in the morning, and like she let me stay until like 8 or 9 in the morning, so a good like 6-7 hours. But she checked me when I first got there, was 1 centimeter dilated. When she checked me again around the time I was a little bit later on discharge, I was still 1 centimeter dilated, so everything was fine. And then that day, the same thing happened where I lost a little bit. I don't want to say I lost my mucus plug again, but I definitely had like a lot of discharge that kind of looked like a mucus plug. That was kind of like, I don't know what the word is. That was kind of like regrowing. I don't know how to say that. That's weird, regrowing. But like, I hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. That was just, yeah. I can't find the word. But yeah, so then, oh, sorry. Kind of moved now. I have to like sit straight up because it's just, like, his legs are like right at my ribs, and it's just so uncomfortable. Yeah, so ended up, pretty much the same thing pretty much seemed to happen, and yeah, I actually did end up staying in the hospital again until like 8 or 9 that morning. I went in at like 1 or 2 or whatever. So maybe I stayed in there longer. Whatever, but again, I did end up actually sleeping and pretty much slept them off. I did have some while I was sleeping, but then after that, yeah, they just stopped. And then that Friday I was fine with, that discharge that I had of like what seemed to be like a mucus that was trying to regrow, or yeah. That's a horrible word to use, but yeah, hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. Then the very next day, Saturday, I was home. I actually ended up getting like a bunch of stuff from my aunt who lives a few states away from me, and I was going through the one box that had like clothes and everything in it. I was going through that, getting all the clothes cleaned, like doing laundry. I was fixing up any of the toys that I got from her, and like all the stuff that I got from her, I was just trying to like fix up, organize, pretty much nesting. But then I don't know if from doing all that like triggered the contractions and everything, but they ended up triggering, and I was in the most horrible pain ever. This time by far was the worst out of the other 2 episodes I had, and this was just like, I definitely was pushing myself, and I shouldn't have, and I know that, I might get a little hate for doing that, but from pushing, I truly believe from pushing myself, I caused the contractions and whatnot. But I did end up going in at like, literally like 2 in the afternoon, 2:30 in the afternoon. I didn't end up getting up until like 10 or 11, and then like for the next like 2-3 hours I was working on doing all this stuff. So ended up having the contractions. I even had like a little discharge of blood. It was a little bit of like old blood and new blood. It's like brown and then like red blood. Not a lot, but the red blood was kind of concerning for me. And obviously I was having contractions, I was having discharge, like, I don't know. I ended up calling my OB, or the on-call OB, or one of the nurses, I should say, not the actual OB, but like one of the on-call OB nurses or assistants or something like that. I ended up calling one of them, excuse me, and, telling them, I'm having these contractions again. These contractions, again, they were by far maybe the worst. They were, on average, about a good 5 minutes apart, maybe even a little bit less. So, like, I want to say about 3 to 5 minutes apart. They were lasting about 30 seconds, and again, still lasting between 30 seconds to 2 minutes. And they definitely were, every time they were just worse and worse and worse. And there were times where it would even last longer than 2 minutes, which was definitely another big concern that, I mentioned to the doctor, or the nurse who I was talking to. She went and asked the OB, kind of explain what was happening. They said for me to come in and get checked out. So, get my stuff. I kind of leave everything a mess in my room and just went right to the hospital. They checked me. They checked me out, and they said that, it seemed like I started to dilate a little bit more. I was still about a good 1.5 centimeters dilated at this point. And I think they said I was a little E-face, not much, maybe, I can't really give a percentage as to how much, but they said that it definitely seemed like I was a little bit thinner, or that I started to thin out. And they checked me again about 4 or 5 hours later, and they said that I proceeded to dilate to 2 centimeters, and I was 50% E-face. So they definitely, they kept me overnight, so Saturday into Sunday, and the OB that was there started me on a pill that was supposed to help stop or at least control the contractions. They had me on a IV for both an IV drip of, I forget what they called it, but it was for GBS. If they don't know if I have GBS, well, they do now, and I actually still need to find out the results. So I'm definitely going to call them tomorrow about that. But GBS is just some kind of bacterial thing that some women have in either their vagina or their rectum or both. And it can be harmful if, when you give birth and it's passed on to the child, and the child catches it, it could be deadly for them, or it's just really severe for them. So they were giving me this IV drip of it just in case I went into preterm labor. And again, if I had it, just to make sure that he wouldn't get it, because I do plan on doing a vaginal birth, all natural birth, so no pain medicines or anything. And they also had a saline drip too, because they thought that maybe dehydration was the cause of the contractions, which they definitely were able to rule out pretty fast. And also, they were giving me this steroid shot in my butt. They did it once on Saturday night at 6 p.m. and then Sunday night at 6 p.m. again, just in case I went into preterm labor. The steroid shot was supposed to help with his lungs to kind of mature them faster. But again, just in case I went into preterm labor, because of the fact that I went in at 1 centimeter dilated and then proceeded to go on to 2 centimeters dilated. Then Sunday, the OB switched out, and whoever I saw, the lady who was there when I first went in, she ended up leaving, and I don't know, funny enough or whatever, the OB that I was seeing at that hospital ended up coming in. She was a little concerned. She definitely wanted to make sure that everything was okay. She did end up keeping me overnight Sunday into Monday because she did end up stopping the pill that I was taking for the contractions just because of the fact that I was getting really bad headaches. And she wanted to see if my body itself had stopped having contractions without the pill, which yes and no. I still continue to have them, but it would just be like hours apart, but it would be like these 2-minute long, very painful contractions that I would get, which I still do get. Yeah. So that, because she stopped me with the pill, she just wanted to keep me overnight and observe me into the next day. And I ended up leaving about 3 o'clock Monday afternoon. Ooh. And I believe it was Sunday when there was a little scare where I wasn't really laying down on my back, but I was kind of like adjusted on the seat so that like I could watch the TV and like eat. I ended up having a contraction, a really bad one. That was maybe by far the worst one that I've ever had, like pain-wise. It was 2 minutes long, and the way that I was positioned, being like pretty much on my back, that because of that, it caused his heart rate to drop, and like 3-4 nurses just rush in, you know, or like putting me on my side, like, you know, monitoring, making sure his heart rate went up. So then after the contraction passed, his heart rate went back up to normal, and like ever since then, I have not really like laid on my back or anything. I've been on my side all the time. So there was a little scare, but everything's okay. So yeah. And then ironically, the next Monday, which was, I think this past Monday. No, not this past Monday. Last Monday, because today's February 6th, I think. Something like that. I think, yeah, today's February 6th. So then this past Monday was the 4th. My birthday was last Thursday, which was the 30th, and that was a Thursday. 29, 20. So the 27th, which is a week after I got out of the hospital, from that long hospital stay over the weekend, I had an OB appointment. Oh, excuse me, I farted. Sorry, I farted again. Excuse me. I can't help myself. I'm pregnant. Give me a break. Okay, anyway. So, last Monday, the 27th, I believe I said, of January of 2020, I ended up having a OB appointment. I went in. She said that I did end up actually getting my cervix checked again, just because I'm a little paranoid. It's like you can't really feel, you know, your cervix opening and dilating and whatever. So I did have her check again, and she did say that it did seem like I did start to dilate a little bit more. I'm not quite 3 centimeters yet, but I'm definitely working on it. So she said approximately 2 to 2.5 centimeters dilated. Sorry, excuse me, my nose. Whew. But yeah, that was about 2. Yeah, I said 2 centimeters to about 2.5 centimeters dilated, while being, I think, still 50% effaced or thinned out. And I did end up actually going into labor and delivery again 2 days ago on the 4th. Yeah, the 4th. Because I, all that day, I was going to the bathroom. And mind you, I was not drinking enough. I was drinking enough where I was hydrated, but I wasn't drinking enough where, like, it was diluting my urine to the point where it was clear or relatively clear. Like, it should have still been a yellow, but not like dehydrated yellow, but not clear hydrated, if that makes sense. So anyway, sorry, my nose. All that day, up until about like 2-3 o'clock, when I kind of like decided, like, you know, maybe I should get this checked out. I was going to the bathroom whenever I was wiping myself, because when I would wipe myself and obviously like look in, like, it looked pretty clear, and I was really concerned because at least some things I've been reading about on some of these the apps that I have that I'm using to track my pregnancy, you know, are saying that, you know, be careful of like leakage and whatever, and it's kind of gave me some symptoms, like mostly like, you know, it's clear fluid, it's non-scented, or there's like no odor to it, and that it usually, like, you don't have any control over it. And like, I have had like some times where like a little bit would come out, and like I wouldn't know if it was urine or if I was leaking or like what the case was, but for the most part it was relatively clear. And whenever I would smell it, there would not be any scent, so I was really concerned. Called my OB about it. They said, you know, hey, just come in, we'll check you out. Oh, sorry, I'm farting. So this day was actually relatively really quick. I was there for no more than an hour. I was only there for like 45 minutes. But they did get me in a bed. They were checking to see if I was having contractions or whatever. And they did notice, and I did not feel these, but I was having like some little ones every once in a while. But nothing too much, because again, not even I could feel them. I did end up actually falling asleep a little bit. And then the OB did come in. She checked me. She actually like put in a I forget what these things are, but like pretty much it opens up the vagina enough so that you can just literally look in with a flashlight and be like, oh hey, look, there's your cervix. She checked it. She put her fingers in to check me how dilated and all that was. But she said it was fine, that my amniotic sac was still in contact, that, you know, that definitely it was not, I'm not leaking or anything, but I'm still about 2 to 2.5 centimeters dilated, but this time I'm about 75% effaced or thinned out, so like, I am progressing more with everything like that. She also did say -2, which I know is like a position, which I don't know if that means he dropped down more or what the case may be, but yeah. So, yeah. That kind of was really my January into February. My birthday month. Thanks, dude. Yeah. So that was definitely a very eventful week for me, or month, I should say. I'm out of breath. Holy crap. Definitely going to sleep after this video. Holy crap, I'm tired. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much all that, that happened. And I have been farting a lot more now. I don't know why all of a sudden, but all of a sudden it's just farting. But in general, everything really has calmed down. It's just now all I do notice that I do have like those long painful contractions that last about 2 minutes long. Still have them, but they have been actually happening maybe like every other day or even a couple of days. Like, I haven't noticed it happening as often as it was before. Contractions / Braxton Hick contractions in general have slowed down and calmed down and like haven't been happening as much. What else? I've actually honestly started to take it a lot more easier. I've been just chilling in my bed, playing on my laptop, watching a TV show. Like, I've been kind of chilling in my bed for the most part, honestly. Like, I just kind of put myself on bed rest. Something else I was gonna say. My damn nose has to keep itching me. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this time. Pretty sure that's it. Yeah, because, yep. Yeah, that's all that I can really think of at the moment. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up. Comment down below how many kids you currently have, or if you're currently pregnant, how far along you are, how old your kids are. Okay, no, not how old they are. I mean, that's definitely up to you, but like, if you have any kids, or just like how many kids you currently have, or if you're currently pregnant. Now, it's 100% up to you if you want to get any more descriptive, like, I have 2 boys, they're both this old, their names are yada yada yada, like, that's 100% up to you. I just want the basic, like, I have these many kids, and that's it. But if you want to get into details, be my guest. Share with the world, share with everyone. But that's 100% up to you, because that's definitely information that I know, at least at first, I wouldn't be sharing when he's born. I mean, I kind of am on YouTube, so you guys probably will know. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more and continue with me on this journey. This very rocky, emotional roller coaster events and life moments stuff that I'm having. Oh my god, I'm gonna have a breakdown. Jeez Louise. No, I'm not. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, or at least now know some things that have happened and why. Honestly, though, I haven't really been doing as much, or haven't really been doing as many videos, or just truthfully, sad to say, haven't really been putting in much effort into my videos, which, again, please do not take that personally. I'm already beating myself over it. I do need to I need to find my camera. I really need to find my camera first before anything. I need to get some programs on my laptop to do, with my actually good camera, and with videos on my iPhone, which is what I'm currently doing, so that I can actually edit them and, like, have intros and outros and, all this fun stuff. So yeah, before I make this literally a half an hour video, which it pretty much is, have a great day or night or whatever. Have a great life, guys. See you next time. Bye.